You guys good? Well, this is pretty impressive. You guys got a nice setup out here. I was talking to a couple of the students in there. I went to school a long time ago, back when they used sundials to tell time. So we didn't have these fancy computers, this editing. We had these big things called 3/4-inch tapes, these 800 machines. Maybe you've seen some of them in the archives gathering dust. But it's really cool to see how everything's advanced, where you have the power in your hands to knock out anything you want like that. So, I wish I could turn back the clock for many reasons, but one of them would be to be able to jump into the classes now, because you guys are just accelerating at another level. Got my first job in Sioux City, Iowa. Got kind of lucky, and that was back doing it all. Shooting, editing, writing, producing, whatever. And that's the great base. That's what I love about the early parts of this career, is learning it all, becoming a jack of all trades, and learning each and every side of it. I'm a terrible shooter, but I learned what goes into it. I appreciate great shooters. I know what it takes to make a good piece, and those guys are just the crush to everything we do. But from Sioux City, I went to Omaha, Nebraska. I did sports in Sioux City for 5 months, did news in Omaha, Nebraska for 8 months, went to Kansas City back into sports for a year, and then I got a lucky break and came to Chicago. So I was in the business about 2 years, and then as Bill mentioned, we worked together at WMAQ, and I got here right before the Bulls won their first championship. So I was 25, I was a lucky dope to be getting paid to go to the Bulls championships. And I thought every day when I was going to work, I thought, man, they're paying me to do this? I hope no one figures it out, because this is great. But I do, I love this business. And I really feel fortunate. I have a job that every day I look forward to going to. It's different every day. It's creative, it's challenging, it's dynamic, and it's an exciting time now with this digital media. Everything you can do just instantly. So, if for those of you that are wanting to do this, it's a cool time to get into it. The game is on. Did sports a couple years out there, and then I transitioned. I never thought I'd do entertainment. And somehow I end up getting a phone call from someone that actually tried to hire me in New York one time and asked me, hey, would you consider working in the entertainment field? I'm thinking, I don't know, but it sounded kind of cool because it was something I hadn't done. I'd done news, I'd done sports. So I ended up taking a job to work for Extra. It's like E.T., Access Hollywood, and I always call it adult comic books, because basically that's what it is. It's adult comic books, and people love that stuff. When I first got there, actually, it was more about storytelling and doing the journalism side of entertainment, sitting down with Denzel Washington or Martin Scorsese and telling a great story of why they do what they do. And I'm always intrigued by different people's path to success, so it was really cool. I got a chance to sit down with some of these masters at what they do, some of the best in the game, and I got to pick their brains. It was a national show, which was cool, but for me it was all about the process and really being able to grow and build great TV, turn in packages, make something intriguing and exciting to watch. And then as it kind of went along, it started transitioning more into tabloid and the TMZ things, and I have nothing against it, it just wasn't for me. I'm thinking, I'm a grown man, I don't care if Britney Spears is shaving her head or what Kim Kardashian's wearing. So I slowly started to make my move to transition out of that and started a company. And then ABC came along, and I had a chance to do a reality show. Now, I've never thought I'd do a reality show, but this one was different. It was unique. It's called The Mole. Anderson Cooper actually did the first 2 seasons of it. And so that was a cool opportunity. Once I sat down and talked to the producers that were trying to hire me, and went back and watched some of the shows, I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. It's more of a cerebral kind of whodunit, espionage type show. And so I took that on. I thought another pillar of what I hadn't done. I'd never done a reality show. And then I kind of got the itch to get back into news. And an opportunity came up. NBC came back and asked if I wanted to do mornings. I'd never anchored mornings. And I thought, cool template. I like what GMA was doing. I like the fact that it's an open, 2.5 to 4.5 to 5 hours, just of live TV. I live for live TV. That's what I like. Taped, pre-produced. It can be polished. It can look perfect. But I like the spontaneous, unpredictable vibe that you get in the morning. And so I took a job with NBC in San Francisco, did that for a couple of years, and then Chicago came calling again. I love this town. Great news town. Love the people, love the city, and just really, really thought this would be a great place to raise kids. I have 2 small kids now, a 5-year-old daughter, Lola, and my 3-year-old son, Cruz. So I thought, great community as well. So this was just an unexpected opportunity. I really thought we'd probably take a job back in LA or New York, and boom, here I am back in Chicago. So that's it in a nutshell. And the reason I got into broadcast journalism was the challenge of it. I really like the fact that it's dynamic, and I mentioned that the creativity and the way that it's being curious and digging into things and finding a way to gather information, but then find a way to present it to people that's going to make them, one, informed, but two, also pay attention. We have just so much media coming at us now. It's online, it's on TV, it's on our phones, it's on our iPads. It's endless. It's a barrage. It's a literal news onslaught. So the key is, what can we do? Oh, I'm on Facebook? Oh, is that all right? Wow. See how fast that is? Did you get my good? This is my better side, man. No. The reality is I don't have a great side, so I'm like, whatever you get, that's what you're stuck with. First thing I do is I just came up with something that we implemented into our system. It's called a hot sheet. It's called the GDC hot sheet, Good Day Chicago hot sheet. Basically what it is, it's a rundown of what's happening for that day, highlights of stories, some links to stories, a little snapshot and synopsis, what each reporter's doing. So it gives us, kind of a Cliff's Notes version of what's happening in the day. So we have that right there, and then I dive right into the show. But it's kind of a rush, but I like it that way. I love working in the mornings, again, a wide open template, and being just funneled right into it. I've worked again on the other side of it. And to me, sometimes, after a while, it's like, let's just get the show on. Let's get to game time. Man, you hit the ground running with what we're doing here. So it's fun. I struggle with getting into the business. I think the biggest thing is, when you, particularly from my side of it, if you're going to be on TV, is just finding a comfort level. Really getting to the point where you're in tune and aware of what's happening, but also you lose the consciousness about, oh, I'm on TV. We're looking into the camera, talking, I'm live, people are watching me, I'm worried about this. Let go of that self-consciousness. But a lot of that comes with repetitions. I always equate it as like shooting free throws. If you want to be a great free throw shooter, shoot 1,000 free throws every day. By the end of it, you're closing your eyes and it's just stroke, and you know what's going in. And the other side of it is, I always tell aspiring broadcasters, be you. Don't try to be a great broadcaster. Don't try to sound like TV person. Don't try to sound, certain people believe when you're on TV, you've got to sound like this. Please don't do that. But we're kind of programmed. You sound like, that's how broadcasters do. When you first get in, you think, I'm going to try to sound like so-and-so. And that's one way, you emulate people, and that's all good and well. But when it comes down to it, try to be great at who you are, and that will separate you because then you become unique. And so the biggest thing that I found when I first got in was trying to find me, letting go of all that and not trying to do what I thought was broadcasting. It was doing me. And I tell people now, and as young students all the time, don't try to be Rhonda Reporter or Joe Broadcaster. Become you. And that comes through finding ways to communicate, I always recommend take a lot of speech classes, speech courses, because then there's a comfort level. You learn to gather information, you learn to formulate it, and then you learn to deliver it in clear, concise fashion, but also in a conversational way. Keep in mind, we're on TV. This is about talking to people, like me and you right here. So hopefully, when you can get in front of the camera, you feel like that. Now, I also recommend that people, especially when you're first getting into it, take a big leap forward. Remember, when you're broadcasting, don't worry about broadcasting. Imagine you're picking up the phone and calling your best friend. How would you tell them about this story? You wouldn't call up a friend, a 3-alarm fire, this and that. You'd be more of, hey, it's unbelievable. You'd break it down to them. No, seriously. And it makes a difference. And that's not to say that you can't ever have formality to it, but find a way where it's genuine, it's real, it's organic, and it's you. But it took a while. My first job in Sioux City, Iowa, man, I think about the first broadcast I ever did there. I was anchoring weekend sports. I thought, man, if I still have a job on Monday, I'm going to be on my knees thanking God because I blew it. But that's part of the process. And it's those experiences, though, that help you filter out what works and what doesn't. But the biggest thing in the beginning, though, was just repetitions, and you guys have a great opportunity to do a lot of it. Take these cameras out. The cool thing is now, back when I was in school, you had to literally rent a camera or check one out at school to shoot anything, so the reps were limited. Hell, now you can go out and use a cell phone, put it on something in practice. And I always tell people, practice reading, and back in the day I'd say get a recorder and record into it. Well, now do it into a camera. Watch yourself, And I also used to tell people too, record yourself when you're talking on the phone. Listen to yourself. Just forget that's there, but just call someone and talk normally. Listen to that and then compare it to when you're on TV. And start to, find the similarities and find that rhythm. Bring that person back to it. And then the more rest, but it's just like sports. Man, it's repetition, repetition, repetition. Come game time, it's on. That slider comes in there and you're waiting, boom. And that work ethic, that's what I tell people too. The biggest thing I took away from sports wasn't so much the cheers and the touchdowns, it was more the work ethic. And that can be applied to this, and as it can be applied to anything, but work your ass off. You'll find a lot of people are happy to get by. Adequate's good enough. They're just kind of staying under the radar, make sure no one notices what I'm doing. Hell with that. Take it on. Be again, like I said, bold, and really make a difference, and you'll find that you'll be able to succeed at anything. But yeah, I think back a long time ago, shoot, when I first was trying to do broadcasting, I really thought, did I pick the wrong career? It took a little while for that light switch to go off. But that's how it is in the beginning, man. It's almost like the first time you ever probably tried to hit a baseball. But writing, I just can't emphasize enough. If you're going to be on air, writing is crucial. It really is. We're talking, but good writing, good storytelling. Why does this story matter? Finding the hook. Think about why this is even relevant. What's the purpose of why are we doing this, and why would anybody watching care, and why would it matter to their life? You start coming from that place, and that gives you a good base on developing a way to communicate and making stories relevant, because there's a difference of regurgitating information. You start saying that often, and you're like, okay, I heard all that, and I heard all those numbers. What does that mean to me? Why do I care? If you answer those questions first, you'll be much more effective as a journalist.